afternoon and welcome today's Hatsubon service for the year 2021. Over the past year, we have had certainly our share of losses, many friends and family members who have passed away. And today, we are mindful of their lives as we participate in this first Obon service for those who have passed away in this last year. Last weekend, we observed our Obon festival as best as we could. And today, as we gather together on this weekend, we observe Hatsubon and Obon services. It's good to have all of you join us for today's service. We'll begin with the reading of Sambujo, followed by the reading of the Hyobyakumon, and then the reading of Amida Kyo. And during the reading of Amida Kyo, Mikame Sensei will read the names of those who have passed away in this last year, and Randy Suzuki and Deborah Aso will place a candle in front of the homyo as that individual's name is called. So again, I will begin today's Hatsubon service with Sambujo, followed by the Hyobyakumon, and then the reading of a portion of the Amida Kyo, and Mikame Sensei reading the names of those who have died in this past year. this occasion of the Hatsubon Memorial Service, the members of the San Jose Buddhist Church, Betsuin, have reverently come before Amida Buddha with deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida. We reaffirm the three homages. Namanda, Namanda. Setsu Amida Kyo Shari Ho Onyo I Unga Himutsunga Ko Mo Amida Shari Ho Himutsunga.
Now, I'm going to call the names of people who passed away over the past year. Irene Yasui, James Sakamoto, Mervyn Naoki, Harry Sakogawa, Alice Morita, Mary Sugimoto, Molly Nakasaki, Howard Oshita, Shigeru Tokiwa, Kazuhiko Nakamura, Akimi Gyotoku, Culver Kitazumi, Tamako Kubota, Sharin Hanen, Mitsuru Hayashi, Fumiko Higuchi, Henry Yamate, Michiko Hayashi, Tom Ezaki Jr., Carol Sato Nakashima, Allison Takaki, Stephen Fukuchi,
仏衆未公仏妙音仏の税と語が社衆
いつを上中、
各音音水語上絶相変部三千大先生内世中上一言
マスコヒラノ、
尿等身税商不が真因無の無一切小仏
メリー・ケイ・タニ、
シャンリ法南方仙外ウニチガトムツ妙高
豊子久保ら、
大見物趣味等物無料小人物尿全土
トラオ・サラクボ、ソラクボ、excuse me。ジョアン・ウィルソン、コータ・タカハシ、スミコ・イチナガ、
無料等物大好物大名物放送
栄ゆき、
上皇物尿税等言が社物各音音不水語上絶素
ツタコ・タダ、
大先生外節上実言尿等修上等身税小三分が真因不
ウォレン・
の一切
花本、
称号年行シャンリー法法法仙外無縁見物最小音物難小物
ロイ・
小物
ムロツネ、
物尿税等言が社物国音音国水語上絶相変部三千大先生外説
春代西村、
等修上等身税小三分が真因空の一切小物称号年行シャンリ本芸法仙外
ノリタカ・ヤブモト、
妙門仏公妙公仏脱魔仏法能仏自法仏尿税等言が社小小仏
テリー・アキコ・マエダ、
水語上絶相変風三千大先生外節上実言尿等修上等身税小三分が真因
スミコ・サント、
小物称号年行シャンリ法上法仙外ウ本の仏種食用仏工場仏高校仏大円見仏座敷法見合神仏シャラ十王仏法系特仏見経一切芸仏尿臭味線仏尿性統合合化社中公物学王王国水合上節素変法三千大先生外節上実言能等修上等身税小三分具家臣因無のご一切小物称号年行シャニ法王尿意運がかとが公明意一切小物称号年行シャニ法脈善男子善良人門税武小説名遊行名社税小善人士善良人会意一切小物語武将五年開徳風大天王阿のくたら三脈三宝内前後シャンリ法尿等が等新州真珠が工業商務小説シャンリ法脈人意発願法発願等発願翼章阿弥陀仏国者税商人等開徳風大天王阿のくたら三名三宝大王非国道脈意小脈根性脈東証前後シャンリ法書 小善人死善良人略心信者応答発願商品国のシャンリ法尿税根者小産小物夫婦不が審議空の非小物と略称性が不が審議空のにさ前言釈迦無二仏の異人難慶右市場の王シャマ国道語釈悪上釈悪性公辱権辱煩悩辱衆上辱未上未辱中徳阿のくたら三脈三宝大一生衆上節税一切先見南進司法釈理法統治家を合辱悪性有志難事徳阿のくたら三脈三宝大一切制限摂取難進司法税等人難部説司教医者理法有証味区一切世間変人アシュラ等文物小説漢字真珠さらいにこ仏説阿弥陀経ナマンダナマンダウスナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダウスナマンダナマンダウスナマンダ
So if you wouldn't mind, please join me in reading 三期右衛門。もしお手元に三期右衛門のものがございましたら、一緒にご唱和をお願いいたします。人参受けがたし、今すでに行く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かって土せずんば。さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に帰依し立て祀るべし。自ら法に帰依し立て祀る。まさに願わくは主情とともに大道を体現して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に帰依し立て祀る。 まさに願わくは主情とともに深く胸像に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自らそうに消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに大衆を通りして一切無下ならん。無常人人未明の方は百千万号にも愛おうことかたし、我今検問し受持することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツ。少しばかりお話をさせていただきます。三のゼベツ院の開教師僧侶の三亀と申します。本日は初盆のお参りということで、この1年間で大切な方を亡くされたご家族、そしてご友人とともにその方をご縁として仏様の教えを聞かせていただく大切なご縁です。この1年間、コロナウイルスの感染拡大により、ご家族、そして親しいお友達同士で集まって過ごすということがなかなかできずに大変な時期でありました。その中でお亡くなりになられた方々のお葬式もいつものように人生の中で関わってくださった方々をお呼びして執り行うということができずに、私どもにいたしましても心苦しく思う一年でありました。この1年はこれまでと同じように直接足を運んで集まってその方を偲ぶお葬式、そしてご法事ができない中で Zoom や YouTube などのテクノロジーを使って通して多くのお葬式やご法事に携わらせていただくご縁を頂戴いたしました。そのおかげでその場にお互いがいなくてもどこにいようとも同じように同じ人を思って心を向き合うということができるということをですね、気づかせていただくすごく尊いご縁を頂戴いたしました。やはりそれはまさに仏様のお働きの無限大さというところを感じさせていただくことでありました。この世の命を終えていかれた大切な私たちのご家族、私たちの大切な方々はですね、今仏様としての命に生まれていかれました。姿形は見えないけれども場所や空間、そしてこの違う状況を超えて、残された私たちです。この世界に残された私たちを導いてくださっているのが仏様です。どこにいたとしても、どのような状況であったとしても、今ここにある私の命とともにあってくださるのが仏様であります。今この瞬間もこうして YouTube、 そして Zoom を通して三の勢だけではなくて他の州にいらっしゃるご家族、他の国、ハワイや日本、世界中、本来は集まることが難しい状況の中でも同じようにこうして人どころで気持ちを人どころに向けてサービスを共にさせていただくご縁に今合わせていただいています。それはたまたまそれぞれがスケジュールが空いていたからできたサービスではございません。このサービスは亡くなられた方が、その大切な方々が今仏様となってお一人お一人に届いてくださって、そして導いてくださって恵んでくださった命を考えるありがたいひとときであるなと私はいただいています。日本では亡くなった方の魂がお盆になると帰ってくるという言い伝えがあります。浄土真宗では命を終えるときにすぐに仏様の命に生まれさせていただく、ですからどこか遠くの場所に行ってしまうのではなくて、今ここで生きている私たちの命を導いてくださる仏様となって、亡き方は共にいてくださると聞かせていただいています。ですからお盆だけではなくて、時間や空間、状況を超えて、ご一緒くださる仏様であります。どうぞこれからも 手を合わせる中で、そして仏様の教え、言葉に出会う中で、亡き方の仏様としてのお働きにご一緒に出会わせていただきましょう。ありがとうございます。
This is a passage from the Passages on the Pure Land, a text written by Shinran, the founder of this tradition. And it's a passage that I read often, but it reads as follows. When through Amida's directing of virtue to them, by the power of the vow, the foolish beings ever floundering in birth and death, hear the true and real virtues and realize supreme Shinjin, they immediately attain great joy and reach the stage of non-retrogression, so that without being made to sunder blind passions, they are brought quickly to the realization of great nirvana. I'm getting ahead of myself. As often I do, I don't pay attention to my notes. And my notes indicate that I should be reading the three treasures. And Mikame Sensei did a perfect job, whereas I hope you will bear with me. This is from our service book, and it is on page 8 if you have the service book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now I hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, become units of true accord and a life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Thank you for joining us for this Hatsubon service this year. Many have passed away, friends and family members who, in some cases, we have known for decades, and in some cases, who we've known only for a short while. But whether our acquaintance is short or long, their lives and their deaths have had an influence in our lives. As we participate in this afternoon's Hatsubon service, it is the first Obon service that we observe for our friends and family who have passed away this last year. It is a very challenging time, a time when we cannot gather together as we have in the past to participate in the services that mark these important times in our lives. We have had, for the first 6 months of the pandemic, we really didn't know what to do when someone passed away, whether we should call the temple, or if we call the temple, what might they be able to do, whether they would be able to come and officiate a service traditionally observed at the death of an individual, the first service, the Makuragyo service, or whether they would be able to the ministers would be able to come into the hospitals or homes where they passed away. Uncertain of what to do, we kind of waited and to see what would happen next. But as we became used to this pandemic, this time of isolation and separation, I think we realized that even in the midst of this great difficulty, this separation, unable to gather together as we have traditionally done in the past, that there were opportunities for us to continue to connect with one another, to deepen the relationship that we share with one another. Although the patterns were different, things that we had done in the past were no longer available to us, we were still able to connect to the lives of those who we share life with. And that these lives who have come to an end this past year, that their lives too continue to be a part of the life that we are all immersed in. Whether we observe the rituals that we traditionally have in Jodo Shinshu, whether we are able to observe them in the way that we have in the past, is not so important. Rituals provide a kind of a stability, a continuity for us, something that we can return to over time, something that reminds us of how we are connected to past lives, to other family members and friends whose lives have ended in previous years. We're reminded through the observance of these practices of how important their lives continue to be in our life. But regardless of whether we were able to observe these patterns, their lives still are important. What we experience and share together continue to be a part, an influence of our lives. The patterns are important in that they express the importance of the tradition that we belong to. But these patterns carry within it something that is important, and that, of course, is the teachings of the Buddha, the teachings of Shinran. As we observe these rituals, the simplest of them all is to simply put our hands together in Gassho. And as we put our hands together in Gassho, it is with a feeling of gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude for all of the experiences that are now a part of our lives. That the lives that came to an end this past year did not simply disappear, but rather continues to be a part of our lives. And with gratitude and appreciation, we are mindful of that. As I read in that first passage, there is nothing that we need do. All that we are is taken up by the assurance, by the vow of Amida Buddha, and moves us toward enlightenment. Regardless of our abilities or skills, we are all taken in by this great vow. We are connected to one another. We are joined in the vow of Amida Buddha that comes to us without any requirements, comes to us without any requirements, that assures us as we are of the resolution of difficulties. We don't have to worry what will happen to our family and friends, but simply remember together in gratitude and appreciation for the lives that have been a part of our life. There is a gata that was written by, or arranged by, actually it's arranged by, I always thought that it was written by Mrs. Hojo, but it was actually written by S. Fuji and arranged by Mrs. Hojo. And this gata that it's in the old service book, I think it's in a new service book as well, but the gata reads, Tombo ni notte harubaru to ojo de kara no ojo kara no okyakusama, 1年ぶりのお客様. So those who have passed away at Obon time come riding Tombo and return to us in this time of Obon. Whether literally or in our hearts and minds, that they come and join us in this time of Obon. And the second verse is, Tombo, tombo yo tombo, aka tombo, mukae bita ite. My Nihongo is terrible. I don't know what happened. I think, let me see. Tombo yo tombo, aka tombo, mukae bita ite, machimashou, chochin buri no tomo shite mukaemashou. It's a beautiful song, about, again, our friends and relatives in this image returning and coming to us, and then going back to the Pure Land. In this time of Obon, and especially at this Hatsubon, so many have passed away in this last year, and we are especially mindful of those who continue to be a part of our lives and for whom we express our gratitude and appreciation. As we are mindful, we are also mindful of the assurance of Amida Buddha that provides for the enlightenment of all beings, regardless of our abilities or skills. We are all assured, as we are, of the resolution of difficulties. Again, may I thank, in behalf of the Betsing and our staff and friends, may I express our sincerest condolences to each of you in this very challenging time as we share together in this Obon Hatsubon service. Thank you very much for your presence. To those of you who are joining us that may not have had someone pass away this last year, but join us today for this Hatsubon service. Thank you very much. As we conclude, will you please join in Gassho and Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida. Thank you very much, everyone. Tomorrow, if you can, please join us for the Obon service. It'll begin at 10 o'clock. And our guest speaker tomorrow will be Reverend Nariaki Hayashi from the Ekoji Buddhist Temple. And he joins us via the internet for our Obon service tomorrow beginning at 10 o'clock. Again, thank you very much, everyone. Please take care. Be safe. Thank you very much.